Hare Krishna, thank you for joining. Let's make a start. Jai Radha Madhava, Jaya Kunj Bihari, Jayo Radha Madhava, Jaya Kunj Bihari, Jai Gopijana Vallabha, Jayo Giravardhari, Jaya Gopi Janavallabha, Jayo Giravardhari, Shodanandana Vrajjana Ranjana, Shodanandana Vrajjana Ranjana, Yamuna Tira Vanachari, Jayo Radha Madhava, Jayo Kunj Bihari, Jai Radha Madhava, Jayo Kunj Bihari. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya, Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya, Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Mukam Koti Vachalam Pangam Langyate Grahim Yat Kirpatam Vandeshi Guru Dharanam Paramananda Madham Shitanya Ishnu Hariyam Tassat Narayan Namaskritya Naram Cheva Naruttam. Sorry, Om Gyantim Nusya Gyananjana Shlakya Chakshur Miltayan Tasmai Shri Gurve Nama Shri Chaitanya Mano Vishtam Staptamena Bhutle Sam Rupa Kadayam Tatati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuttapada Kamalam, Shri Guru Vaishnav Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sagana Raghunatham Sajim Sadhvetam Savadutam Krishna Setam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sagana Lalita Shri Vishakarmitam Scha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kant Radha Kant Namastute Tapta Kanchan Gaurangi Radhe Vindavaneshwari Rishabhanu Sutadevi Pran Mami Hari Priye Vansha Kalpatrubhyascha Kirpa Sindhubevacha Patitana Pavnebhyo Vaishnavyo Namo 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 Vishnu Padaya Krishna Pasthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Te Namine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschati Deshatarine Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasti Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna. Mukham Koti Vachalam Pangyam Lakti Yat Kirpatam Mandashi Gurundin Taranam Ramananda Madham Shitsanesham Riyam Tassat Narayan Namaskritya Naram Cheva Naruttamam Devim Saraswit Vyasam Tato Jamadurya Nastaprisya Vrisha Nitya Bhagavad-Sevayā Bhakti Tum Shloke Bhakti Bhakti Neshki. So thank you once again for joining, and we shall continue with our chapter 12. Last time we were talking about how Maharaj Parikshit was saved in the womb of Uttara, his mother, and we discussed a bit more about Maharaj Yudhishthir as well, and what a great king he was, and all that fighting and everything. is well worth the effort to establish dharma, so everything could be run properly. Now we continue with shloka 10. Okay. Astra teja swagadaya niharam iva gopitihi vidhamantam sanikarshe prakshat ka iti asau. So Astra Teja, radiation of the Brahmastra, Swagadaya, by means of his own club, Niharam, drops of dew, Eva, like Gopatihi, the sun, Vidhamantam, the act of vanishing, Sanika Rashe, nearby, Prakshata, Shat, Prakshat, observing, Kaha, who, Iti asau, this body. So the Lord was thus engaged in vanquishing the radiation of the Brahmastra, just as the sun evaporates a drop of dew. He was observed by the child who thought about who he was. It must have been amazing for the child to see somebody putting all the effort in there for him. And I don't know whether he could understand what was going on, but amazing. So let's see what we have. So it says that the Lord can vanquish the radiation like the sun can evaporate water from millions of miles. It was not a big task for him. Sudarshan Chakra and the club, they can both do this job. So we're talking that Krishna had two weapons as Narayan in 400 form. You have the chakra and the gada, so he's using them both. But because he is Vatsalya, he brought two weapons, just like a father to protect his child would do anything. Krishna shows his love. So Krishna doesn't need to go into the womb and put all this effort in there, two weapons in hand. He can just like with his mind, he can control everything just by thinking. He can do everything, but he wants to personally come and protect his devotee or the child of his devotees. He wants to show. He wants to participate physically in that. That's the thing. So that's the way he shows his love. So 11. Vidya tad amir atma Bhagwan dharam gub vibhu mishato dashma sasya tatre vantra dadhai harihi. So Vidua, having completely washed off that Ame Atma, the all-pervading super soul, Bhagwan, the personality Godhead, Dharam Gup, the protector of righteousness, Vibhu, the supreme, Mishtha, while observing, Dashma Sasya, of one who is dressed by all directions, Tatra Eva, then and there, Anta, out of sight, Dade became Harihi, the Lord. So while thus being observed by the child, the Supreme Lord, Personality Godhead, the Super Soul of everyone, and the protector of the righteous, who stretches in all directions and who is unlimited by time and space, disappeared at once. So Srila Prabhupada's purport says, Child Parikshit was not observing a living being who is limited by time and space. There is a gulf of difference between the Lord and the individual living being. The Lord is mentioned here as the supreme living being, unlimited by time and space. Every living being is limited by time and space. Even though a living being is qualitatively one with the Lord, quantitatively there's a great difference between the Supreme Soul and the common individual soul. In the Bhagavad-Gita, Both the living beings and the Supreme Being are said to be all-pervading, yena sarvam idam tatam. Yet there is a difference between these two kinds of all-pervasiveness. A common living being or soul can be all-pervading within his own limited body, but the Supreme Being is all-pervading in all space and all time and all bodies. A common living being cannot extend its influence over another common living being by its all-pervasiveness. But the Supreme Supersoul, the Personal Godhead, is unlimitedly able to exert his influence over all places and all times and over all living beings. And because he is all-pervasive, unlimited by time and space, he can appear even within the womb of the mother of Child Parikshit. He is mentioned herein as the protector of the righteous. So anyone who is a surrendered soul unto the Supreme is righteous and is specifically protected by the Lord in all circumstances. The Lord is the indirect protector of the unrighteous also, for he rectifies their sins through his external potency. The Lord is mentioned herein as one who is dressed in the 10 directions. What does this mean? This means dressed with garments on 10 sides up and down. He is present everywhere and can appear and disappear at his will from everywhere and anywhere. His disappearance from the sight of the Child Parikshit does not mean that he appeared on the spot from any other place. He was present there, and even after his disappearance he was there, although invisible to the eyes of the child. Plus, he's the super soul in the heart. He doesn't have to make special effort to go into the body. He's already there in the body. Anyone who's conscious, the super soul is already there. This material covering of the effulgent firmament is also something like a womb of the Mother Nature. And we are all put into the womb by the Lord, the Father of all living beings. He is present everywhere, even in this material womb of Mother Durga. And those who are deserving can see the Lord. Amazing. So this is 11. So Krishna can be available at all times and space. When does Krishna protect? Krishna will protect who protects Dharma. Krishna protects one who follows and abides by Dharma. So he's on the side of people who are Dharmi. The Pandavas are a good example of this. If we stick to the path of righteousness, we will be protected. One who follows Krishna is righteous. Having the material energy punish us is also his act of protection. Just like a materialistic will see material life, sense gratification or business opportunity everywhere, a devotee sees Krishna everywhere and in everything. So it depends on where your mind is dwelling. If your mind is dwelling in Krishna, then you see Krishna everywhere. If your mind is dwelling in business opportunities, you see business opportunities everywhere. If your mind is dwelling in sports, you see sports, everywhere. If whether you're playing or watching, just wherever your mind goes, that's your inner home, that's your internal home, and you're dwelling in it, and you see everything linked with that. And 12. तथा सर्व गुणोदर के सानुकूल ग्रहोदये जज्ञे वंश दरहा पांडो भूया पांडु अवय jasa. So tatha, thereupon, sarva, all guna, good signs, udark, having gradually evolved, sa anukula, all favorable, grahodaye, constellation of stellar influence, jajne, took birth, vamsha darha, heir apparent, Pandu of Pandu, Bhuya being Pandu Eva, exactly like Pandu, Ojasa by Praus. So thereupon, when all the good signs of the zodiac gradually evolved, the heir apparent of Pandu, who would be exactly like him in prowess, took birth. So astronomical calculation of stellar influences upon a living being are not suppositions, but are factual, as confirmed in Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam. Every living being is controlled by the laws of nature at every minute, just as citizen is controlled by the influence of the state. The state laws are grossly observed, but the laws of material nature, being subtle to our gross understanding, cannot be experienced grossly. As stated in the Bhagavad-Gita 3.9, every action of life produces another reaction, which is binding upon us, and only those who are acting on behalf of Yajna or Vishnu are not bound by reactions. Our actions are judged by the high authorities, the agents of the Lord, and thus we are awarded bodies according to our activities. The law of nature is so subtle that every part of our body is influenced by the respective stars, and the living being obtains his working body to fulfill his terms of imprisonment by the manipulation of such astronomical influence. A man's destiny is therefore ascertained by the birth time constellation of stars, and a factual horoscope is made by a learned astrologer. So Srila Prabhupada approves of astrology. It is a great science, and misuse of a science does not make it useless. Maharaj Parikshit or even the personal Godhead appear in certain constellations of good stars, and thus the influence is exerted upon the body, thus born at an auspicious moment. The most auspicious constellation of stars takes place during the appearance of the Lord in this material world, and is specifically called Janti, a word not to be abused for any other purposes. Maharaj Parikshit was not only a great Kshatriya emperor, but also a great devotee of the Lord. So before we talk about Maharaj Yudhishthira, and we want to now bring it to Maharaj Parikshit, and he was very similar to Yudhishthira Maharaj in his ruling the kingdom, or the world in this case. Thus he cannot take his birth at any inauspicious moment, as a proper place and time is selected to receive a respectable personage. So also to receive such a personality as Maharaj Parikshit was especially cared for by the Supreme Lord. A suitable moment is chosen when all good stars assemble together to exert their influence upon the king. Thus he took his birth just to be known as the great hero of Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam. This suitable arrangement of astral influences is never a creation of man's will, but is the arrangement of the superior management of the agency of the Supreme Lord. Of course, the arrangement is made according to the good or bad deeds of the living being. Herein lies the importance of pious acts performed by the living being. Only by pious acts can one be allowed to get good health, good wealth, good education, and beautiful features. Just going to read that again. Herein lies the importance of pious acts performed by the living being. Only by pious acts can one be allowed to get wealth, good education, and beautiful features. The samskars of the school of Sanatana Dharma, man's eternal engagement, are highly suitable for creating an atmosphere for taking advantage of good stellar influences, and therefore Garbhadan Samskar, or the first seedling purificatory process prescribed for the higher caste, is the beginning of all pious acts to receive a good, pious, intelligent class of men in human society. So the saying, to bring about a pious or a devotee type of entity, the first act is to have that conceived by Garbhadan Samskar. For right from the beginning, there should be auspiciousness. There will be peace and prosperity in the world due to good and sane population only. There is hell and disturbance only because of the unwanted, insane populace addicted to sex indulgence. So there's so much disturbance around the world, and a lot of people, there's all sorts of relationships going on, all sorts of nonsense going on, and they're not following dharma basically, and it causes disturbance. So this is 12. So Maharaj Parikshit did see the Lord in the womb and wondered who that was. Once you see the Lord, your life will never be the same. It's mentioned. Astrological science is there and it influences every human being. It is not superstition. So that's one thing, that we all believe in. Especially the Hindu community, they will have the horoscopes made when a child is born from the exact time. So they record the time of birth, and that is used to make the horoscope. And then the astrologer who makes the horoscope, he can check back in he has the information that how were the stars aligned at that time, and then according to that he can give an interpretation of about the child. From like, it's not that he's guessing or making anything up, or he's got like standard writing about the different stars, what month they're born, and then just writes down, okay, be like this, be like that. They go by the constellation influence at that particular moment, that day, that month, that year, and accordingly they will make a horoscope. It's quite an elaborate horoscope. So astrological science is there and influences every human being. It's not superstitious. The planets influence every part of one's body. Astrology is like forecasting. One can forecast different influences. Just like we see clouds gathering, we forecast. So it's like forecasting the weather, basically. Just like we see clouds gathering, we forecast there will be rain. Or we see darker clouds gathering, we forecast there will be a storm. Similarly, astrology can analyze different times in your life and how they will influence you in certain ways. But Krishna consciousness is far higher than science of astrology. Those that are surrendered to Krishna, that science becomes secondary. Krishna protects his devotees. With one kick, Krishna can sort out 100,000 Rahus. All the planets are servants of Krishna, but our faith in Krishna is important. So once you become a devotee, you don't have to worry about these things. You can have them, as like a record, but you don't have to worry about any grahas or anything, because Krishna is bigger than all the grahas. The astrology should not challenge our bhakti or dampen our bhakti by relying or taking shelter of the yantras. The science can be used to an extent. Different constellations are there for Maharaj Parikshit or Duryodhan, auspicious and inauspicious. So when Duryodhan was born, the constellation were quite different, and there's a lot of signs at that time that something not very good is about to take birth. Great personalities will have great constellations. That's all. We're not taking them too seriously. For our, we're not going to the details of everything that might happen and what could go wrong. Once you've taken the shelter of Krishna, then you just totally rely on Krishna to sort everything out for you, and to be honest, the birth of the person, just we know that it was auspicious time, it was not auspicious time. That's all. Don't need to go into too much detail about it. And finally, 13. Tasya pritamana raja pipredomya kirpadbihi chatakam karyam asa itva sa mangalam. So tasya his prita manaha satisfied, Raja King Yudhishthir Viprahi by the learned Brahmins, Domya, Kripa, Adibihi, and others also. Jatakam, one of the purificatory processes performed just after the birth of a child. Karayam Asa had them performed. Vacha Itva by recitation. Cha also Mangalam, auspicious. So King Yudhishthir was very satisfied with the birth of Maharaj Parikshit, had the purificatory process of birth performed. Learned Brahmins, headed by Domya and Kripa, that's Kripacharya, recited auspicious hymns. There is a need for a good and intelligent class of Brahmins who are expert in performing the purificatory processes prescribed in the system of Varnashram Dharma. Unless such purificatory processes are performed, there is no possibility of good population, and in the age of Kali, the population all over the world is Shudra quality or lower for want of this purificatory process. It is not possible, however, to revive the Vedic process of purification in this age for want of proper facilities and good Brahmins. But there is Pancha Artika system also recommended for this age. The Pancha Artika system acts on the Shudra class of men, supposedly the population of the Kali Yuga, and it is prescribed purificatory process suitable to the age and time. Such a purificatory process is allowed only for spiritual upliftment and not for any other purpose. Spiritual upliftment is never conditioned by higher or lower parentage. So after the Garbhadan purificatory process, there are certain other samskars like Simantonayana, Sadha Bhakshanam, etc. During the period of pregnancy, when the child is born, the first purificatory process is Jat Karma. So this was performed duly by Maharaj Yudhishthir with the help of good and learned Brahmins like Domya, the royal priest, and the Kripacharya, who was not only a priest but also a great general. Both these learned, perfect priests, assisted by other good Brahmins, were employed by Maharaj Yudhishthir to perform the ceremony. Therefore, all the samskars, purificatory processes, are not mere formalities or social functions only, but they are all practical purposes and can be successfully performed by expert Brahmins like Domya and Kripa. Such Brahmins are not only rare, but also not available in this age, and therefore the purpose of spiritual upliftment in these fallen ages, the Goswamis prefer the purificatory process under the Panch Artika formulas to the Vedic rites. So, Kripacharya is the son of the great Rishi Sardaban and was born in the family of Gautam. The birth is said to be accidental. By chance, the great Rishi Sardaban met Janpadi, a famous society girl of heaven, and the Rishi Sardaban discharged semen in two parts. By one part, immediately a male child, and by the other part, a female child were born as twins. The male child was later on known as Kripa, and the female child is known as Kripi. Maharaj Shantanu, while engaged in chase in the jungle, picked up the children and brought them up in the Brahmanical status by the proper purificatory process. So Kripacharya later became a great general like Dronacharya, and his sister was married to Dronacharya. And Kripacharya later on took part in the battle of Kurukshetra and joined the party of Duryodhana. Kripacharya had to kill Abhimanyu, the father of Maharaj Parikshit, but he was still held in esteem by the family of the Pandavas due to his being a great Brahman as Dronacharya. When the Pandavas were sent to the forest after being defeated in the gambling game with Duryodhana, Dhritarashtra entrusted the Pandavas to Kripacharya for guidance. After the end of the battle, Kripacharya again became a member of the royal assembly, and he was called during the birth of Maharaj Parikshit, for recitation of auspicious Vedic hymns to make the summoning successful. Maharaj Yudhishthira, while quitting the palace for his great departure to the Himalayas, entrusted Kripacharya with Maharaj Parikshit as his disciple, and he left home satisfied because of Kripacharya's taking charge of Maharaj Parikshit. The great administrators, kings, and emperors were always under the guidance of learned Brahmins like Kripacharya, and thus were able to act properly in the discharge of political responsibility. So it's like they respected Kripacharya. He was not, a bad person, bad-hearted person, but at the time of the war, he had to pick a side, and unfortunately, he picked the side of the Kauravas, but there's no malice on the side of the Pandavas for that with him, or with Dronacharya, or with Bhishma-Pitama. I mean, naturally, they would have liked to have them on their side, but for reasons discussed before, they had to choose the side of the Kauravas, although their hearts were with the Pandavas, and their best wishes, their blessings were with the Pandavas, but they had to sacrifice their own with the Kauravas, whether it was a reputation or their lives as well. They have to, and Lord Krishna understood that. Obviously, he's in the heart, and he may have also advised the Pandavas to keep Kripacharya and use his knowledge and talents for the kingdom. So that's 13. So in this age, it's hard to find Brahmanas who can properly recite the mantras or have the right consciousness for a Brahman. This is the other thing. They might not be expert, or they might be expert, but do they have the right consciousness? In the age of Kali Yuga, our consciousness is contaminated very badly. So it's recommended to perform deity worship. That's the Panch Artika process we're talking about, which is also a purificatory process prescribed for this time for spiritual upliftment. So deity worship is very, very important. This is why temples are important, deity worship is important. We are offering all the elements to the Lord, we're serving the Lord in his, the form that we can see, and we serve with awe and reverence, and that's very, very important for purification purposes. So when Maharaj Yudhishthira left for the Himalayas, he left Kripacharya in charge of Maharaj Parikshit as a disciple. Earlier, Kripacharya was fighting on the side of the Kauravas. He was also part of the team that killed Abhimanyu because he and Ashwathama were involved in killing Abhimanyu. They were punished. They were both set to Chiranjeev, which means both are eternal. They don't die. So Ashwathama is still around, Kripacharya is still around as well. They are both still living today. They will have to live until the end of Kali Yuga for punishment. So sometimes we don't have to punish people. Krishna arranges the punishment for us. So this is how we have to see things. When we take matters into our own hands, then we are also creating karma for ourselves, which is not a good thing. If you consider yourself a devotee of the Lord, then the devotee takes over your karma, takes over your life, takes over your destiny, and you can totally rely on Krishna to do the needful for you. So main thing is we don't create karma for ourselves. Wonderful. So thank you all so much, and like to hear from yourselves on this. There's so much to learn in every verse. Wonderful. So I think we have time. Maybe we'll start with Kiran Prabhu. Hare Krishna Prabhu.
Hare Krishna, everybody. So much fascinating stuff in a few verses. Yes, Krishna is our ultimate protector. He protected Parikshit, and lo and betide, be mindful that if you are pious and righteous, Why fear when the Lord is always here? He will never abandon you. You know, like Jesus said when he was at the crucifix, "Oh Father, why have you abandoned me?" Krishna will never ever abandon his devotees. And so retain that absolute unconditional faith in the divine, because at the times of our greatest needs, you can bet your bottom dollar he'll be there. His hand will work in so mysterious ways that his chakra and his gada will protect us in ways which will not even um, fall into our lexicon and our understanding of how this has happened. He is the ultimate repository of love. He reciprocates our devotion with love and protection. So for Krishna, the more you put in, the more you surrender, the more bhakti, the more devotion, you know that all the way in this material journey, you are well protected by his presence. And yes, you can have divine eyes, you can see him, his four-arm forms, but he is in every living atom, every living thing that is in and around us. So his presence in the wind, the rain, the flora, the fauna, the people around us. Parikshit saw him as the size of a little thumb. If the Atma exists, therefore the Paramatma exists as well. So the two have to go hand in hand. He will reciprocate us through our love and devotion. He is omnipresent, he is omniscient, he is omnipotent. And those are the qualities that divinity has. Those are the qualities that we don't have, but we can learn to develop those qualities through our bhakti. The divine vision is necessary to develop, and we develop through this process. You know, he protects us. Many a times we've been driving and you think, how have I got from point A to point B? How has a surgeon completed a surgery of imparting conjoined twins and having those twins live perfectly normal lives? Yes, there is a skill of the surgeon, but behind it, there is the master surgeon who is performing deeds in our waking lives all the time. And hence, you know, we must never lose sight that, you know, we may think we walk alone, but we walk hand in hand with divinity. Krishna resides in everything around us. He is the dweller in our hearts, in the whole of the environment that we pervade. He is the all-seeing, all-hearing, all-knowing. And Prabhupada indicated that stars and astrology and planets are important. And it is important because the moment a child is born, or you and I were born, that our parents went and saw a Brahmin to find out the time of birth and the time and dates which kind of coincide with the planetary systems, and hence prefix and suffixes to our names were given because they're given to coincide with the planetary systems and the stars and the planets. The time of our birth are important because the time of Parikshit and other sages and other elevated souls, they're well documented in the Shastras that they were born at very auspicious alignments of stars and planets. And hence, when we are born, our parents make sure that they go and see a Brahmin to make sure that that we are a part of the divine process. Maybe the stars may not have lined up as they should be. It is what it is. We bring our karma with us, and we have to deal with it, because at the point of death, we may come empty-handed and we leave empty-handed, but our karma goes with us. So we have to develop good, pious qualities, and those good, pious qualities starts right from the beginning, even before a child is conceived, because we go through a process of samskaras, and some of these samskaras are done through things like the biorath. It's a rath that uh, um, parents take. It's to do with milk uh, and yogurt type of preparations you have prior to even thinking about having children. So samskaras, raths, talking about the time of conceiving, discussing that the parents' minds, values, and their hearts and minds are in line with bringing up a good child and a good offspring. And hence, it's not just a hit and miss, wham, bam, thank you, ma'am type of a process. It is a very sophisticated science that we are being given in the Shastric process. We have, as we progress in the West, lose sight of these things. I know we try to complicate our lives. One relationship, one wife. It is what it is. And it should be, because marriage is a made in heaven. Krishna decides who we should be having our soulmate with. But many of us, not many of us, some people choose to have extra encounters. These only create disturbances. Disturbances create ripples. Ripples create waves, and waves can destroy families, and the waves become tsunamis. Tsunamis can be destructible. So simple living, higher thinking, imbibe the values of the Shastra, and you cannot go wrong. Ultimately, be mindful that Krishna is your ultimate protector. And even in life, even Kripacharya, he was on the side of Duryodhan. But life is such, sometimes we make judgments and we have to follow those judgments. And sometimes we may make the wrong call, but we have to try and get back from the wrong tracks and the wrong roads and the wrong A roads and B roads that we may take back to the highway to divinity. And we need to find the right motorway to get us back to God. And hence, Kripacharya was chosen as the guru for Parikshit. And ultimately, we create our own karmas, but we must create good karmas so that we can be seen by God, that He glances at us with adoration and with affection, so that we may become a part of His kingdom in the spiritual world. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thanks so much, Prabhu. So many points you made. Wonderful. Thanks so much. Yeah, Kripacharya and Ashwatthama, they stay till the end of the Kali Yuga, which probably means I know Ashwatthama is supposed to help Kalki, and I guess Kripacharya will also be helping Kalki to complete the Yuga. And then what happens to them? Will they go back and come back will they go back to Mahavishnu and come back in the new Yuga, in the Satyug? Or what happens is that if people are meant to continue in the Kali Yuga because their consciousness are now ready to come back in the Satyug, they will be transferred to another universe where Kali Yuga is going on. So there's so much choice. You can't say, "Oh, sorry, Kali Yuga is finished. So now you have to take us in the Satyuga team now." No, not really. You're not good enough for that team. Purify yourself first. So you got plenty of choices in send your planet or universe rather, where there's Kali Yuga, and you carry on right there and do your japa and when you're ready, we'll get you into a better yoga or get you back home. So yeah, Krishna's made all the arrangements. In fact, everywhere there is only Krishna. There's nothing else. There's only Krishna everywhere. How, you may ask? Well, there's Krishna, and everything else is energies. We are his energy. We are his marginal energy. There's the external energy. There's the internal energy, potency. So everything is his energy. There's only Krishna. So how can we miss the Krishna? We don't see Krishna. He's everywhere. There is only Krishna. There's nothing else. We are also part of his. He's the energetic. We are the energy. Thank you so much, Prabhu. Hina Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, everyone. Thank you so much. Please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Very nice class. Thank you, Prabhu. And really nice points made by Kiran Prabhu as well. So for me, just to add a couple of things, were just around on the verses covered that that anyone who's surrendered to the Lord is righteous and protected by Krishna in all circumstances. But it also says in the verse that he's also an indirect protector of the unrighteous too. So his care extends to all, but he has special favor for his devotees. That was my takeaway from that. And then the verse around the astrological influences, which are, as it states, very, very, very real. However, for a devotee, Krishna, as we said, Krishna takes control. He's able to change our destiny. He can redirect. He can redirect our lives once we start to give him some attention and to surrender to him. So there's no need for devotees to worry too much about astrological influences. And I think I've also heard that even when we clap our hands in kirtan, we are changing the lines of destiny in our hands through that. So it just goes to show that really we have got nothing to worry about as long as we keep him the sole purpose of our life, keep Krishna in the center. We have nothing to worry about. That was it. Thank you so much, Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Mataji. Thank you so much. Yeah, the astrologers ask you to wear rings, this ring, that ring, this sapphire and ruby, and I don't know if these things work or not, but yeah, they recommend. I guess it gives you a bit of peace of mind. Anyway, what's going to happen is happening. But Krishna, just give you a little dose of it instead of the, big dose. But I don't know if those things work. But you take protection of Krishna, then he'll protect you as much as possible. Okay, Sai Prabhu, nice to have your association today. Would you like to add anything? Hare Krishna. You're still on mute, Prabhu, if you're there. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Yes, most of the points have been covered by Kiran Prabhu and Hina Mataji. Yes, I mean, of course, everybody's touching on the astrological aspect that's mentioned there. And we all know when the time came, Lord has the ability and the capability uh, to turn the stars in favor, like it happened in the battlefield of Kurukshetra, where Lord was able to cover the sun at an odd time as a disguise to Kauravas that it's nighttime already. So nothing is beyond Krishna's command. So we as devotees need to keep that in mind and not be carried away by the astrological speculations. I have one question though, Prabhu. In the text 11, it ends. Prabhupada's purport ends stating that. Even in this material womb of Mother Durga, is Prabhupada mentioning um, this current world as being in womb of Mother Durga? If so, why Mother Durga only is mentioned there?
Because from my understanding, the Mother Durga, she is the illusory energy, and we are
Mhm.
we are in that illusory energy. We are covered just like a child. In the womb, we are covered by the illusory energy of Mother Durga. Durga means fort. We are inside that fort, illusory fort, and it's very difficult for us to. I think it's metaphorically speaking.
Okay.
We in there, and we we're having difficulty escaping Mother Durga. We treat her like a mother, Durga Mata, but she will not let us escape until we are ready. She feels that we are ready to live. We have become a pure devotee. Then she will let us. Otherwise, we are stuck in there, life after life. We have to. She will test us again and again. Even when we think we are ready, she will test us, and then she'll show us, are you really ready? She will. Maya Devi, she knows how to test us, and she knows our weaknesses. So again and again, she tests us, and if we can pass all the tests, then yes, we're ready to go back home. But then the ultimate test comes at time of death. Whether we like. I was just saying the other day that I don't want to. I'm not taking any courses or anything because I don't like exams, and I've done enough exams in my lifetime. I'm not looking forward to any more. But the ultimate exam will be at the time of death, and then, so even if we think we are ready, even if Durga Mata, we are in her womb of illusory energy, she thinks we're ready, but the ultimate test will be when it's time to leave, that we can prove whether we are ready. This is my understanding, Prabhu.
Wise words. Thank you. Cheers.
Hare Krishna. Ajay, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
I think with these verses very much come to the fore that importance of consciousness, whether it be a child in the womb in this case, or nearing time of death. Consciousness is so important. What is your consciousness? Are you looking to purify yourself? Have you purified yourself? Are you at the point where you are not only a devotee of the Lord, but surrendered devotee of the Lord, surrendered to Krishna, that is? It is the modes are always testing us as such. Even those devotees are considered pure devotees, they still get tested because you're still within the material world. It's just the difference is that because they have everything is for Krishna, they have given everything to Krishna, all thoughts are for Krishna, that it doesn't bother them as much. They just get on with it. That's essentially the kind of attitude we need to develop, where we need to be everything needs to be for Krishna. It shouldn't be seen as, so if you need to do particular service, to do something, it's not seen as a burden, as need a special effort. We want to do it. We consider it our great fortune that we are able to do such a service for the Lord. Just how like the gopis are the classic example. They are more than they're fighting for service for Krishna. They don't. It's not that whatever Krishna wants, he will. We will do it, whether it be given the dust from the feet. If that's what Krishna wants, we'll give it to Krishna, and that's the key, really. We just need to. You see it with it. I mean, even like said, the great devotees in this day and age, they no matter what their health is, no matter what their age is, they're always full of energy, because the moment they think of Krishna, which I think Krishna, whatever condition or the situation they're facing, it becomes blissful because it's a chance to serve Krishna. And that's all we need to think about. We need to think about always trying to serve Krishna, always acting for Krishna, and then whatever we're facing, it just becomes, instead of a problem, it becomes a blessing. And then everybody appreciates the blessings, so we can't really lose. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you so much. Yeah, absolutely. And I'm just going to add that so this material world or universe, or all the universes, material cosmos, it's it's made, or it's from Mahamaya, and the spiritual is Yoga Maya. So yeah, so everything we're covered in that illusory material world. So I think it's all a womb of Mahamaya, of illusory energy.
Hare Krishna, everyone. My pranams to all of you. Yes, If only we had spiritual bodies and if we could just hear these glories of Lord and serve the Lord constantly, wouldn't be great? This is what comes to my mind every time we're going through the Sangha. Because we are in the material world, we have material bodies, so we have got our constraints, we have got our limits, how much can we sit for so long, and we have got other duties to do, and sometimes our stomachs are rumbling for food, sometimes we have to take care of other body needs, and so and so, and it just goes on and on. This is material life, and this is why we are sent in here in this the Durg, or the Durga Devi's fort. She's the superintendent. She's got a keen eye on each of us, because she is the ultimate examiner. If she recommends us, we will be going to the next stage of the spiritual upliftment, to the we'll be en route to the spiritual world. So we can cheat ourselves, we can cheat others around us, but we can't cheat the providence, because that providence has got a very keen eye on us all the time. As we've seen, a special vision was given to Parikshit Maharaj in the womb to see, to have the darshan of Krishna, exactly like Arjun was given the special vision to see the Virat Roop, or the universal form, because these material eyes are not meant to see that. You need to have special vision given to you by the Lord, then only you can have the darshan of the Lord. So even if in this Kali Yuga, due to the dint of their bhakti, if somebody has that darshan of the Lord, that means some special kripa have been given on them. They have reached that stage that the Lord has given them that mercy of special vision. And they say a person is not the same once they have had the darshan of the Lord. Of course, because they have seen the best, and once you've seen the best, it's evident that you don't look back. You just hanker, that you just quickly leave this shackles of this material life. And also about the zodiac conditions and the the factual conditions at the time of appearance of the great personalities and the Lord himself. There are special constellations around, and how all the demigods used to come, to serve Lord, because they have to like greet Lord. They are all the servants of the Lord. And I was hearing in a class of the day that this is Kali Yuga. No demigods like to come. It is getting so sinful now that they don't like to come. It's not pure enough for them to come. So that's why we just do all the prayers. We just offer them. After making the offerings to Krishna, the bhoga, we offer the prasad to the demigods. And also how the purificatory processes described, the Jat ceremony, the Simantonayana, and the Sadha Bhakshanam, and all those samskars performed when Parikshit Maharaj was still in the womb of his mother. And also, there's so much talk about the Garbhodhan sanskar. It's so much importance given in the Shastras. And shame that nowadays, I don't think many of our parents they didn't even know about it, never mind following the Garbhodhan sanskar. Garbhodhan sanskar is not easy. As the basic process is to do, I think, I don't know how many rounds. 50 rounds mother and father have to do before they conceive a child. So that much pure consciousness is desired from them. And with the Kali Yuga minds and Kali Yuga bodies, it's not possible for people.
Better the round, better the child.
Yeah, better the rounds, better the child. Even to think of that Garbhodhan sanskar and having, all the yagyas and everything, it's amazing. But there are children who are born like this still in this day and age in our congregations and other congregations and other sampradayas, because people understand this process. If everyone was born from the Garbhodhan sanskar, just imagine, this world would be so brilliant. We would be in Satyuga actually. We wouldn't be living in Kali Yuga then. But that's how it goes. We are all having our ultimate test in this Kali Yuga, and we have to go through this test. And also, I just want to touch upon that the Kripachar and Ashwathama thing. they're all parshads, they're all associates of Lord, just like, Kamsa, Ravan, Hiranyakashipu, Hiranyaksha, how the story of these personalities, and then what was the name? The last two who came during Krishna's time, Dantavakra and Shishupal. They were just the two Dwarpals of Krishna. And how when the four Kumars went to see them, and then they said, you can't enter the abode, who you want to meet, and then they were offended, and they were cursed by the four Kumaras, the Jai and Vijay, the two doorkeepers. And those doorkeepers, when they said that we are just doing our duties, we just can't let you in to see Krishna just like that, then their curse was turned into a boon, because when Krishna wants to have fight and rasa, he has to do some leelas. So these both Jai Vijay, they came as Hiranyaksha and Hiranyakashipu, then they came as Ravan and Kamsa, and then they came as Shishupal and Dantavakra. So it's amazing. In the same manner, it is this Kripacharya and Ashwathama. They are all parshads of Krishna. They have been sent for a leela. They did their leela and they're still carrying on. And in some of the terms, sometimes we are, when the interpretation is not given us right, we just have hatred towards these characters. But when you look under the the coverings of the leelas, we understand that they all have leela. Kripacharya had to take part in the Mahabharata in the side of Duryodhan, because just like Bhishma Pitama and Dronacharya, they had the salt. They were of Duryodhan party, Duryodhan side, because they were subsisting. They were living on their. They were bound to fight from their side, but from their hearts, their emotions, like it was told in the class, their consciousness, their blessings, all the good things were for the Pandavas. And and to hear this thing that Kripacharya helped to kill Abhimanyu, the father of Parikshit, it really hits you there when you hear that. And then when you hear later on that after the war of Mahabharata, he was appointed as the guru of Parikshit, like he was guru of the Kauravas and Pandavas when they were children. So, and how what was the role of Ashwathama? When you think of that, you have to Kripacharya. You have to think of a lot of. You have to look under the layers of the meanings of these kathas. That we are all children of the Lord, whether we are envious one time or whether we are friendly. God is giving chance to everyone. This is the thing Lord is showing through Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam, that one who is on a wrong side also can become the righteous once the purification has been done. So this is the importance of all these kathas and the leelas. So thank you all for your wonderful input, and I can't wait for the next session. Hare Krishna.
But I must say that I think Lord Krishna must have recommended that you take Kripacharya as guru, because it would be very difficult for them to forgive.
Yes.
I mean, for Lord Maharaj Parikshit, knowing that this person was one of the people who killed my father. He put the dagger or sword through him, and then now he's my guru. It's, I think, very difficult to accept that.
And for his mother Uttara also.
Especially Uttara. And but they did accept him. So he's a pure devotees. So thank you all so much. Grantraj, Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai. See you on Friday.
Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.